guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is on this makeup look that I am wearing. It's just a very smoky, grungy type of a look, and I decided to incorporate a pop of colour in the waterline and the inner corners. So if you guys want to see how I achieve this look, then please keep watching. Alright guys, so I'm just going to start with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is like my favourite concealer ever at the moment. Like for the last like fucking 3 months. I don't know what I'm saying. I have not filmed like a chatty video in like such a long time, so this is gonna be a good one. So I'm just applying that underneath my eyes, and I'm just gonna take a little bit on my Cupid's bow and on my chin as well. And that's pretty much it. I did get it on my lip, but like that doesn't matter. We can just wipe that off, you know. I'm going to spray my Real Technique sponge with some Fix Plus, just because my sponge is wet, but it's not like super wet because I've been sitting here for like an hour already, you know what I mean? So I'm basically just blending that out with the sponge, and then with whatever foundation is left on my sponge from earlier when I was doing my foundation, I'm just going to like blend out the edges just to make sure that there's no harsh lines and it kind of blends more gradiently. So just to set that concealer, I'm just going to take my MAC Emphasize Pro Powder. You can only get this from pro stores or online. I bought mine from IMATS last year, so you can get there as well if you're going to IMATS. And I'm going to mix that with my Anastasia Banana Powder from the Light Contour Kit. So these are my absolute favourites to set my under eyes with. And I'm just going to use my Sigma Soft Blend Concealer F64 brush to set my under eyes, to apply those powders. What am I saying? I don't really talk about brushes that much on my channel, but I'm actually going to do a video on like my favourite brushes for you guys, because I feel like that would be something you guys would like, seeing as I get a lot of questions about what brushes I'm using. And just so you guys know, I have started linking all the brushes that I use in the down box below for you guys. And I'm just going to take that on my top lip and on the center of my nose and on my chin as well, just because these are like the only areas that I generally like to set. So I'm just going to start the eyes by going in with an eyelid primer. Today I'm just going to be using my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. This is my favorite eyelid primer ever. I never like really believed in eyelid primers before, but like just within like the vicinity of the last 24 hours, I've just really grown to love them, because yesterday I didn't use an eyelid primer. And let me tell you, my eyeshadow just like was coming off and I was like, what? Why is it not sticking? What is happening to my eyeshadow? And like little did dumb Kasey know that it's because I didn't use a primer. So there you go, you learn something new every freaking day. So now I'm just going to set that primer using Mirage from MAKEUPGEEK. I really love this as like a base shadow. It's just a really nice yellowy toned bone white sort of colour. And the brush that I'm going to use is actually the same brush that I set my under eyes with, which is the Sigma Soft Blend Concealer brush, just to cover like a lot of surface area. Do you know what I mean? Like it makes it really quick to get it done. Also, just so you guys know, all of the eyeshadows and products that I use in this tutorial will be linked down below for you guys. I know, I'm stepping up my YouTube game. It's getting really exciting up in here. So next I'm just going to be taking Latte by MAKEUPGEEK. This is just a really nice warm brown eyeshadow. I don't know why I'm like rolling it in my fingers like this, and it's so weird. It's just like a really nice warm brown eyeshadow, and I really love it. So what I'm going to do is take that on my Morphe M504 brush, and I'm just going to buff this into the crease. And I like to switch between windshield wiper motions and circular motions, just because I feel this is the best way to like blend the product out and like spread it around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm one of those people that brings their eyeshadow pretty far into the inner corner. Like I really like to buff it in there. So if you don't like that, you don't have to do it. But I do. So basically what I'm doing is just going back in with that eyeshadow, building it up and blending it out as I go. Just because I want this to be a really nice smoky sort of eye, but I don't want any harsh lines. So next I'm just taking Mocha by MAKEUPGEEK, and I'm just going to be blending that out using my Morphe M433 brush. So basically what I'm doing is just dipping my brush into the product, tapping it off, and then I'm going to pat it onto my eyelid and then start blending it into the crease as well. So now I'm just going to go in with Americano by MAKEUPGEEK, which is just like a deep kind of purpley brown. I don't know, I'm really bad at describing stuff, you guys know this. And I'm just going to tap my brush into the little pan, tap it off, and I'm just going to be applying this onto like the outer corner of my eye, and just kind of like along the lash line, if that makes sense. So I kind of want this to be like a gradient, do you know what I mean? So I put in like the darker color along the lash line, outer V, and then sort of blending up into the lighter colors, if that makes sense. So now I'm just going to go in with my Morphe G17 brush again, and I'm just going to basically blend all of those browns together. So now just going back in with that first shade, which was a Latte, and I'm just going to be taking that on my Sigma Buff and Blend E39 brush, and I'm just basically buffing that all along my lower lash line. Now towards the outer corner, I'm just going to be going back in with Mocha, and on that same brush, I'm just applying this to the outer third of the eye. So now I'm just going back in with that Americano shade, and I'm basically just going to buff this as close to the lower lash line as I possibly can. And by all means, use a smaller brush. I'm just using the same B42 brush by Morphe, basically because I can't be bothered to get up and get a smaller brush. So just going in with my NYX, I don't even know what this is called because it's so little now that like the name is chopped off, but it's just like it says eye/eyebrow, I think, but basically it's just like a little eyeliner pencil. It's just a black one, and basically all I'm going to do is tightline my top lash line so that when I apply lashes and eyeliner and everything later on, it kind of just blends in better, and you don't really get like that skin color sort of peeking through between the lashes and the eyeliner, if that makes sense. So I'm really bad at like tight lining. I'm not one of those people that can just open their eye and like do it, because I have really watery sensitive eyes. So basically what I have to do is hold my lashes like this and then draw up in that shit, and then I have to like stop, take a couple minutes to blink, and then go back in and do the exact same thing again. So now that the painful part of tight lining is over, I'm just going to go in with my Gerard Cosmetics Eternal Liquid Eyeliner, and I'm basically just going to run this along my top lash line, just like a really thin line, so when I apply lashes it just blends in really nicely. So I'm basically just doing that really quick thin line, and then I'm just taking Corrupt by MAKEUPGEEK. I don't know if you guys can see it because my background is black, but it is just a black eyeshadow. So I'm just going to be taking that on my Zoeva 226 smudger brush. This is dirty, don't judge me. I never wash my brushes, I'm so bad. Basically I'm just going to dip it into the pan and then literally just going to smudge out that liner. So I probably should have used like a pencil eyeliner, and now that I think about it, like liquid eyeliner was probably like a really fucking dumb choice. And then all I'm going to do is just go back in with one of those brushes that I was using earlier to blend everything, and I'm just literally going to blend that black in with the browns that I have on the lid. So you can definitely see the difference between the two eyes. This one just sort of makes it a little bit smokier, so then when we apply lashes it'll just blend in better, and it'll just overall look a little bit smokier and not separated, if that makes sense. Like it just looks one with the face. So for lashes, I'm going to be using the Lotus lashes in the style 504. They just look like this. They're pretty dramatic, and they're like really full at like the base, and then they go fluffy at the end. So for the lower waterline, I wanted to do a pop of color because it's something that I haven't really done too much in the past. And I recently got my hands on the MAKEUPGEEK Full Spectrum Eyeliners, and this one is in the shade Mint, I believe. It doesn't say it on here, but I believe the box it said Mint. So yes, I'm going to put this in the lower waterline just for something different, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it adds a nice sort of springtime vibe to an otherwise dark and grungy autumn kind of look. So this is kind of like spring meets autumn sort of makeup. So now for the inner corner, I'm going to go in with one of these MAKEUPGEEK sparklers. This is in the shade Solstice. I think I'm just going to spray my brush with like some Fix Plus and just see how that goes. And the brush that I'm using is the Zoeva 230 Luxe pencil brush. So now that the eyes are done, I'm just going to move on to finish off my face, and I'm going to be going in with Bad Habit by MAKEUPGEEK. I love these contour pans. They are extremely pigmented, and I just think for the price they are absolutely amazing. So I'm basically just dipping my brush in there twice, and I'm going to tap off the excess. And the brush that I'm using today is the Sigma Small Contour Brush, which is the F05. This is like my favorite brush ever for cream contouring. Even though I'm not cream contouring today, it's just my favorite brush for contouring in general, just because it gives a really nice light application. Like the bristles are really soft, and they're like densely enough packed where they'll put like a decent amount on, but they're fluffy enough that they're going to blend it out really nicely for you. So I'm just going to take this around the perimeter of my forehead as well, just because I have a forehead. So now onto my highlight. I'm just going to be taking the You Do You highlight by Dupe That and Ofra. This is one of my favorite highlights of all time because it's just really like iridescent. So I'll show you guys a swatch. It's just like really gold. Kind of like a pinky champagne gold, and it's just really iridescent and pretty. And like I've said in my other tutorials, it just literally looks like a unicorn is fucking shit on your face. Okay, so I'm just applying this to the high points of my cheeks, and the brush that I'm using is my Sigma tapered highlighter brush, which is the F35. I was gonna say 5.3, but it's 3.5. And I like taking just a little bit on my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. So the blush that I'm going to be using is Smitten by MAKEUPGEEK. I've been using like all MAKEUPGEEK products, which is completely... Oh, I nearly just dropped my palette. Oh, it really gave me a heart attack. It's completely unintentional that I'm using all MAKEUPGEEK products, but I don't know, what can I say? I just love MAKEUPGEEK. So yeah, and I'm just going to take that on my Sigma Large Angled Contour F40 brush. This is my favourite for blush. So the lip colour that I'm going to be using today is Iced Mocha by, I was going to say MAKEUPGEEK, but it's by GERARD Cosmetics, not MAKEUPGEEK. I do have coupon codes and that down below for you guys. You can use the code Kasey to get 25% off, or you can use Kasey3 for $38 and you get 3 of these Hydra matte lipsticks for $38, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me, because they're like $20 on their own. So that's everything for this video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up because it really helps me out, and I will see you guys in my next video. My MAC Pro Longwear Soft... What the fuck? That's not what it's fucking called. So now I'm just going back in with that Amara. For this makeup look, you got... My Gerard.